Hello and welcome to the University of Maryland Terps Esports Broadcast Center. We've got some great Overwatch games for you tonight. My name is Buka, _Buka.
And I'm Quinton, at Quinton S. Harden.
And we've got a great match for you tonight. We've got the University of Maryland versus the University of Michigan. I think it's going to be some great games, Battle of the M's.
Yeah, we got our two M schools here coming out, and we've got some amazing Overwatch upcoming. And as just a little bit of a teaser, a little bit of what's to come, we've got a few clips to come and show you.
Yeah, just a little taste.
Let's get into it. Alright, what we just saw were a few little Kiriko plays from one of our support players, C3, who actually usually plays Batiste. But you can see some of that kind of Batiste aim coming in because Kiriko just absolutely shreds with those headshots, and you can just see he just clicks those heads absolutely, and just some great awareness too, using that step to just absolutely negate the ult from that Doomfist there. Just a lot of very good and technical playing in just such a short span of time.
Yeah, it's really great to have like that versatility going into a match, to have that chance to, pick different characters, kind of change the rhythm up, and I think it's great that he's hot on multiple characters right now. I want to see, how that carries into the match tonight.
Yeah, he's really letting his skill shine there. And now, here's our second clip of the night.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember the timeline.
Why'd you say it like that?
Okay, team, let's game.
I'm not ready. 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 Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, GG. Oh, I got pulled.
They have Ryan comp point.
I got two.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Lucio rollouts. I'm not very good at them, but I can appreciate a good one when I see it.
Those wall rides are not easy, but Pumpkin just makes it look so quick and smooth. Just such a fun and interesting way to start a match. Just out there, instantly getting those two. Just a really beautiful play that just requires so much high skill and technical work, but he just makes it look so smooth.
Yeah. Anyway, hopefully that, that energy kind of carries into the match tonight, and we'll be able to just see that in a few minutes after this commercial break.
I think by the end of the season, like now, we play together, everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray. We're excited just to see them play better as well.
With the middle school program, the best part has been seeing the moments of teamwork where the middle schoolers really seem to get the game, and so that's when you can see they're starting to get a little bit hooked on how esports can be so fun.
Off game, or will Red turn things around?
Terp Adventures. Take flight at Stamp. Host to countless Maryland events, programs, performances, and more. Feed your body. Feed your mind. Feed your soul. Let your talents soar. Dance. Sing. Perform. Find your thing. Join more than 800 student organizations and clubs. Find community here. Leadership lives here. Art thrives here. With space to grow. We're all just kids at heart. Let your imagination fly. Compete, play, with wings on our feet. Here your spirit can fly. Here your soul lifts up. Here you remember those who came before. This is STAM. This is the Center for Campus Life, where Terp adventures take flight. You belong here. Come fly with us.
All right, welcome back, Terps Esports. We've got a great Overwatch match lined up today, and we are in. We are looking at a real interesting match here today. Right now, we have the Terps kind of pushing in, moving on to zone, and it looks like that they're going to be winning this kind of first interaction, already going kind of deep into the other team's spawn right there, and getting that first cap, which is extremely important, setting the tone for the match and the tone for the whole night, really.
Now we see them fighting over at that choke point towards Michigan's spawn. Michigan, I think, just kind of trying to fight through there, but they don't seem to be able to get anywhere. The Reaper teleporting in, but is quickly taken out by Moosey.
Yeah, we're really seeing a very up-close and personal fight here today. Tony especially pushing in hard with that Ram right there. And we're just having a lot of close-handed play right now. We've got Ram, we've got Jake Keesis on Reaper, we've got Speep on Tracer. A lot of fast and quick play, and we've got Jake Keesis coming down. But the Terps are staying with it and keeping in the zone and kind of trying to keep them back at that choke point.
Now we see a little bit of fighting over to the side, trying to get onto the point from that high ground, but they're getting pushed back very, very hard. Doppelganger goes down. Isamisa goes down as well. That Tony ult, that Ram ult comes out and just pushes them all the way back to their spawn. Speed cleans up.
Yeah, just a really, really big ult there by Tony. Just really, like, pushing them back, showing a really dominant play right now, and really pushing in and showing that kind of really amazing teamwork that the Terps have right now, especially with Speep coming in there and cleaning it up. And now we've got Window out, Bap moving in. Tony's still just fighting up in front, but backing off a little now.
We see Doppelganger on Michigan popping that beat drop, keeping his team alive. They managed to get the kill onto Speep and push a bit onto Sight, but they go no further. Tony in that Nemesis form, just handling, just punching everywhere.
Yeah, Jake Keesis there getting in the ult, but not really doing a whole lot with it. But the beat coming in to save him and the other team. Looks like Michigan really isn't going to have a lot of success right now with this counter push. They were able to get a little farther than they had been before, but that's the first zone. It was just a very quick and decisive round.
Yeah, dominating first round out of UMD.
Yeah, absolutely oppressive. And we'll see how Michigan really switches things up there, because they were just so pushed back and just straight from the start, not really given a chance.
Yeah, they had nowhere to go. They were just kind of stuck in their own spot, in their own spawn. They couldn't get in through that top side. They couldn't get in through that main choke point, and they were just locked out. UMD playing, just taking control of that site immediately and just playing really great defense there. Just you shall not pass.
I agree entirely. They had that one moment with those ult plays that got them to push forward and got them close to zone, but once those ults ran out, they really didn't have much to work off of, and they were just shut down after that point. Yeah. So we'll see how they really try to adjust from that and try to bring that synergy between ult play and team play, because that's really where the Terps are really going to shine, is that team play moment, especially layering ults on top of each other, but not being completely dependent on ults to make plays. So we'll see how Michigan adjusts to that.
Yeah, obviously that one moment where Michigan did manage to push forward, they used that Lucio beat. You can use Lucio beat offensively, but you need to time it correctly, because obviously the extra health only lasts for a little bit. I don't think that they were really coordinated enough to try and use that to push forward, and they just ended up kind of falling apart and getting knocked to pieces. Very easy first round for UMD there, and now we see the second round.
Second round, UMD already has the zone. We see Pumpkin going around, just picking off, flying everywhere, being almost impossible to hit. And Speep coming in with these Tracer plays, just moving around perfectly, just flanking in and flanking out.
Yeah, goes in with the Pulse Bomb, doesn't manage to get anybody, but pushes them all out of that room. Still doing a bit of damage, takes out Zarya on the other team. And I think UMD just has full control of this site right now. I think they've basically taken this first team fight. They're waiting for the second one. We see... Wait, okay,
wow.
he survived.
He saved himself. Pumpkin not getting the boop then. But still, UMD just really being together and fighting and taking down, already getting pretty much that team wipe. And even on the backside, you can see that UMD is, even when they have the disadvantage, still coming together and able to play, use that survivability. And right now, they're just kind of absolutely keeping them there, right at that choke point out of spawn.
We see here, though, that Michigan has a lot of ults on hand. They already popped one. Isamisa pops that Moira ult. Yeah, I was about to ask about that.
And it looks like... Yeah. And it looks like we're having a bit of a technical difficulty right now with the audio. Don't worry, it's not just you. It's us, too. But we're just gonna have to go with it because the match is happening now, and it is happening so fast. We just have a really quick rate of play right now, and look at that beat from Pumpkin right there. That beat just turning things around. UMD kind of on the backside, and then just switching up and becoming the more dominant player and getting that zone back.
Now they've retaken control. I think Michigan will have one last chance to try to push on the site, but they have to get there fast if they want to extend this into overtime. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to touch, but they do. They have a contest, but it's just that Doppelganger gets a rollout lens on the site, just barely touches. They continue the overtime. Moira on, fighting against that ball, and Jay Keys is on the Tracer Echo, but there's just nothing. There's nothing that they can do. Domination from the University of Maryland.
And that last fight was really a good show, a good, really example of counterplay, because we had a point where they had only a few percent, had to really get quickly on, and we saw Tony quickly change to Hamster, and then we also saw that Echo ult get popped and turn into Tracer, because what they wanted to do was get those people off of the zone and hit them with as much damage as possible so that they're dead and you can't even have them on the zone.
Yeah.
It was just really quick, small to larger changes that put them on top there. And we saw Michigan get some percent that match. Unlike last round. Sorry, Michigan. But this round, they did get some percent because they were working more on that counterplay. They were working more on those ults, especially. They saw Winston get into ult and just DPS'd him out of there. They knew that they could not handle him running around. But it didn't seem to last long because the Terps, with their ult play and their team play, was just so much more synergetic.
Yeah, the thing is that when your final push is that late, you can't really afford to get your whole team together and do an organized push. Somebody needs to get onto the point right now or the game is over. So you see there, they got knocked out very late, I think when the clock was already at like about 80%, and they just didn't have the time to reorganize a push. Lucio had to get on as fast as he could. He got on, he was immediately knocked off. Then you have to take that final team fight without one of your supports, and there's just nothing you can do. Yeah. UMD handled that beautifully, though. Very, very good play out of them.
Yeah, at those end moments, you really just got to buy time, but, you know, at that point, it's just so hard to buy time because every single person is hunting you. But it was really a great show from UMD for those 2 rounds. That first round especially, just absolutely dominating and really just making it last barely any time at all. Second round, we saw some improvement from Michigan, and that looked pretty promising, and we will see how they adjust and take that strategy into our next match. Because, sure, UMD had a very dominant game, but Michigan has a few points that look like they can bring out, especially with that team play, managing the ults, and especially on those last caps. Like near that end of the round at 80%, they really changed things up, and that's when success started to happen. So we will see how they take those adjustments into that next match. and maybe we'll see something a little bit more contextual, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, I want to see UMD win, but you want to see a little bit of more of a contest. You know, we're hyping this up, the Battle of the M's. You got to pull up a fight, you know?
It's the Battle of the M's. We're looking for a good show. And here we're in the next match. We're on Gibraltar. It's just pushed now, so things are going to be a little different. You know, you're not on one static zone. It isn't just battling in one place. It's going to be a very dynamic, changing map, so we'll see how they deal with that. And we've got an interesting team comp coming in here with Speep on Widowmaker, so who knows, maybe we'll see some pretty quick and clip-worthy plays from him, because that's what he's known for, just jumping up and clicking heads every little sight line, just absolutely shredding. So we'll see if we get any of that. But here we've got the Terps on defense, Michigan, with that first push. And we're already seeing some quick and decisive plays getting people low, even though they're just barely out of spawn.
Yeah, a lot of damage onto McChicken on that Diva, still pushing forward. Still, though, taking a lot of damage, looks to be out. Michigan's tank is out of the fight, trying to get away, and I think he actually does manage to. They push their payload forward a little bit, but now it's going to be that choke point right underneath the bridge. Jay Keezus takes out Doppelganger,
the first
winning
pick
that Echo
there.
fight.
And I want to point out something real quick, is Speep just took a lot of damage consistently, but the supports on UMD's side just knowing who to take care of and when to take care of, and really just keeping him alive. But right now it looks like BAP is going to be able to get that headshot and take him out. And it looks like UMD is going to have to give up some distance at the start here.
Yeah, UMD gives up a little bit. Looks like they want to kind of regroup and take that fight at the first checkpoint. Tony gets a kill onto Doppelganger. Michigan still down one. A lot of focus onto that Brig and that Diva over in the corner. And the Diva and the Brig and the Baptiste are gone. This push is smothered out. Only the two DPSs are left, and it looks like they are going to. They are not going to back up.
Look
They're going
at
to die instead.
Speep right now, being a little cocky. I mean, he did get that pick off of that BAP and then meleeing a Tracer. So I understand where he's coming from, but there's still a lot of time left, and right now Michigan has a lot of distance and are very close to that first checkpoint. So really managing that and minimizing that distance is going to be extremely important.
Speaking of Tracer, that Tracer just got her pulse bomb up. We also see that Moosey used her nano. I cannot tell who they used it on. I think it was just a little bit ago.
And I've got to say, it's just so interesting to watch Speep play. He just got focused on by like half the enemy team there, but still did not die, and is still taking things down. And as much as the Terps want to push up and get up into their zone and just get kills and boost the stats, they are still keeping mind of the payload back there, and that it is the objective, and that if no one's on it, they could just have one rogue little guy pushing it to the checkpoint. So it's good on them for at least still being aware. And here we have Tony just using the versatility of Winston right now to just go in and just take down their back line. Just a great play as a dive tank there.
Yeah, one of those things that Winston is really great at least I know this. One of those things that Winston is really great at is, you know, getting into that support back line, since his lightning is really good at, you know, disturbing that healing passive that the supports have.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, really great that he's able to just get in there, get in the back, wreak havoc, make sure that their healers cannot get back and recover. And Michigan doesn't look like they're ready to recover at all here. They have two ults on deck, but they've only got 30 seconds left to get back to the point and retake. We see Tony, he pops his rage, but he just doesn't, there's just nobody to fight. There's nobody there. They're not really putting up that much of a fight.
Yeah.
Altraxia tries to get forward, knocks out Moosey, but is still in a dangerous position and can't really push forward at all. Isamisa gets taken out by Jay Keezus. It looks like it's really over for Michigan, honestly.
Yeah, Maryland just showing what they're best at, really playing with that momentum, and, you know, moving forward with the play and playing as a team. Here we have Jake Keys is saving himself with that Echo ult. And it looks like Maryland is going to push it out and keep them on no points. They still got a good bit of distance, but it looks like Maryland has a pretty big advantage going into their offensive round because they have a lot of time and not a lot of distance to make up. They don't even have to get to one checkpoint. They just need to make it about 78 meters, which in 4 minutes seems pretty doable.
Yeah, that's like maybe 1.5 team fights.
If Maryland plays it right, they won't have to worry about much at all. But we'll see how it goes. You know, at the beginning of the round, Maryland was found on that back foot, and things didn't go super great for them. That's where we saw that distance from Michigan come from. And maybe Michigan's going to take advantage of that. That kind of back foot disturbing the momentum and kind of cutting into what could be a stop. Because the best way to stop it is just kind of slow it down from the back. Cut that momentum. Don't allow them to really move forward and try to cut off what they can build off.
Yeah.
Build off of there, yeah.
Yeah, I think UMD has done a really good job of that in these, first few games. It's not just that they've played well, it's that they've kept their foot on the gas. They don't really let up pressure. They've just been kind of keeping it going, keeping it cooking all the time. I think that's one of the reasons why they managed to take these first few maps and these first few habs in such dominating fashion. They're just not letting the foot off the gas. They're just pushing and pushing and pushing. They're always pushing. Hopefully now we're going to see them get literally 78 meters, and I think they are absolutely capable of that. Tony swaps to Reinhardt, the GOAT.
Ryan the GOAT, but unfortunately not a lot of survivability right now. But it looks like that's not going to matter too much. UMD already at the 55-60 meter mark. Not much to move, and they're keeping Michigan back. But it looks like Michigan is going to try as much as they can to stop them from getting those last few meters. Because if they don't, well, this match is going to be over.
Yeah, this game looks very over, but we do not know whether Michigan will be able to hold. We see the Kiriko teleport out of the way. We see there Tony pushes forward, tries to get that pin, gets launched up by the Junkrat, though. Now Jay Keys is on the Pharah, pushing forward into that corner where the Junkrat is standing.
Yeah, just a lot of very fast and interesting plays. We've got that BAP window coming up, and that could be the opportunity, but it looks like it just was too little too late, and UMD is going to get a lot of pushing distance. And look at Pumpkin absolutely getting rid of Tracer, and then that's the round.
Yeah, that was almost an inevitability with the way that this team is playing and with the way that this Michigan team has tried to defend. They just haven't been able to. They've just been outclassed.
Yeah, I think it's really clear that UMD right now is revved up, warmed up, ready to play, and they've been playing very well and just really playing off of that momentum again. And I feel like Michigan is just having a tough time keeping up, and that they need to really just find a way to cut into that team play. One interesting thing there was we had that BAP window come in, and that is a very high value and impactful ultimate. The boost in damage for everyone on your team is absolutely insane, and can turn entire team fights around and make the fight. But that ult was placed just too late.
Yeah, there was really
and
nothing
that's
that was
really one of the
there.
main things that UMD is really good at, and that I feel like Michigan is struggling at, is that timing of placing ults and the timing of placing it when your team is ready, so that your team can take advantage of it. Because if it's just you using the ult, they can counterplay it pretty easily. But when you merge it with the teams and you play an ult into another ult, you really get a lot of value, and you're able to just multiply off of that. And I feel like UMD has been very good at that. We've seen some really good examples there, especially their counterplay too with the ults, because it's really easy to counterplay one ult, and that's what we've been seeing a lot of Michigan, just kind of disjuncted plays, trying to push with those ults, but not really playing them together well, and UMD just countering it and negating it completely. Earlier in that match, we saw Brig come out of spawn with her ult, but then Tony pops his and just absolutely negates it. And the Brig ult is a very good and versatile ult, but Tony just took care of it because it wasn't played together with the team. And I feel like that's something Michigan's really going to have to improve on and step up if they want to see a change in this next match.
Yeah, you can see that lack of connection, that miscommunication. It's fairly clear from the way that the last few matches have gone that Michigan has been a little bit discombobulated. Maybe they came out of, the starting block a little bit off of kilter, maybe, coming out and meeting this very, very strong UMD defense has been, a little bit of a shock to them, but they just haven't really been playing like a team. They don't really look like they're up to the level of this UMD team.
Yeah, and that's where it is, really. It's the team, We've got people who are great with their mechanics, people who are great with their aim, but really what it matters is coming together as a team and playing as a team. And that's something that I feel like our Terps here have done a very good job at. And that's why we're seeing a very dominant performance right now. Playing as a team, bringing out everybody's strengths, bringing out all of the value you can get from every little thing. And that's really where their strengths are coming from, and the dominant team fights are, Every single person is playing their role, every single person is helping someone else during a fight. There's no real solo play, there's no singular kind of save myself but let the team fall. There's a lot of very connected play there, and that is just what's so dominant here and what we're looking for in an improvement from Michigan. And hopefully...
I'm not looking for that personally.
You want to see that 3-0?
Yeah.
It could be cool to see something like that.
For their sake, I don't want to crush them too bad, but for our sake, yeah. I want to crush them too bad.
It would be nice as a Maryland man myself, but for the sake of, I guess, for Michigan's sake, let's say, there's some things they could improve upon, and if they do, we could see a more contentious match coming up. But if things stay where they are, we're in for another good old-fashioned Maryland stomp.
Hopefully we'll be getting into that next game soon.
Yeah, we will see, and it's going to be a real interesting one coming up soon. Hopefully soon. Yeah. Not too long.
Yeah, I think they're still working on that audio issue that's been messing with the game sound for the
We're
past
having
few games.
little issues, but we're trying, folks. We're trying, and I hope that we can help make up for that lost sound. I hope our commentation is helping you get that bit of perspective that you might be lacking from the lack of audio. But we are trying out here, and we've got an interesting match coming up. And again, it's gonna be a different game mode. We're gonna be looking at some, I believe push. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's push. And push is a very, it's a new game. Actually, no. My mistake. It's Flashpoint coming up next, I believe. And Flashpoint, one of our newer game modes.
Oh. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Understandable.
You guys just hear that. Don't worry about it.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Do not worry about it. Anyways, Flashpoint. Flashpoint is a newer game mode. Came out somewhat recently. For a game mode, I guess, pretty recently. And it is an interesting mode because it's just like a high-paced point. And what it requires is a lot of very dynamic and even more fast-paced play. And one thing especially is that kind of awareness of positioning and your team's positioning. So it's another one that especially stresses that kind of team aspect and playing together as a team and being aware of what your teammates are doing and how they are doing and things like that. So Flashpoint really stresses that, but it's also something where we can see it get so fast and so dynamic and different that it can overwhelm. So maybe we'll see a difference where Michigan could be able to kind of arise from that overwhelmingness and use it to build some momentum, get some zones, and take the match. But we don't know. We don't know for sure. And Maryland has just been absolutely amazing at that kind of team-stressed play. So we're going to see how that plays out here on Flashpoint.
Now we're back into the match. We've got character picks going on. You know, like you said, Flashpoint is a bit different from the other modes that we've played, you know, the other maps that we played in the past few matches. We'll see how this one turns out, but everything's been looking Terps tonight. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, the cards have been dealt, and
if I were a Michigan man, I'd be pretty sad.
yeah.
I'm happy I'm not Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. Maybe Jim should come coach the Michigan Overwatch team. But it looks like our Terps are going to have a interesting lineup. Infectious is now coming in and playing tank. And Tony is going to move into DPS. Infectious previously was playing as our observer. So he's being a little dynamic tonight, filling in a few different roles, but it looks like he's going to get to play around as Maga. And it's going to be interesting because Maga right now is in an interesting place. He's still kind of finding himself as a new hero in the game and still kind of trying to move between that not being overpowered but also not being useless. So we're going to see how Infectious kind of uses him with that team play, and hopefully the backline is going to help keep him alive because Maga is definitely a heal sponge.
Yeah, Maga is somebody who is difficult to keep alive, but who is also very difficult to kill. Now we get in there, and we've got the Flashpoint unlocked. UMD takes control. Starting out, they've got about 10% control on it, and they're just chasing the opponents out there. Doppelganger on Michigan already gone. Isamisa as well already gone with Chicken. The Lucio very low. They're just being chased out and sent back to their spawn. There's nothing left to do for them.
Yeah, we're just seeing Michigan just coming in and pushing really far. And this is the thing about Flashpoint. Especially on this first point, it's just about as pushing as far and as fast as you can and keeping them away. Because not only is it such a fast cap, but it's also one where you have to get a little distance to it. So
yeah, we saw there the sleeper dart on the Junker Queen. Kiriko tried to come in to save her, ended up losing her life for her troubles. Altraxia and McChicken, the Lucio and the Tracer on Michigan also finding themselves gone. 89, 90 on the clock, and it looks like UMD will be taking this first objective.
Yeah, there is not a lot of time left for Michigan. And it looks like UMD is just going to have to win this fight, or at least keep them off the zone enough. And it looks like, ooh, just almost. And they're going to try their hardest to stop them from getting the zone. We have the beat coming in, but it looks like it's not enough. Tony taking out two of them. Boom. There's a third. And Pumpkin cleaning up that last one. And the zone, first one, goes to Maryland. So far, very similar to what we've seen earlier before. Just
that
fast.
Same lack of coordination.
Yeah.
They kind of come in a little bit piecemeal. They get picked off one by one, and they don't really fight as a group, and UMD will just take care of you if you're going to do that.
I don't know if you saw it, but earlier on that point, they had their Lucio kind of trying to take advantage of a C9 situation, but ended up kind of letting his team struggle and kind of lose that team fight in the end.
As Lucio, you're getting very little, how do I say? You're getting very little in terms of value if you're not with your team. So sometimes it is important to, you know, get in and take advantage of those situations. We see a full team kill onto Michigan. Once again, they get split up. Their tank dies first, and the rest of the team is just not together. They quickly follow. All 5 are gone. We just see that. We see that over and over again. There are a lot of individual attempts to make plays here, and a very little playing with the team, and Michigan are really, really hurting for it.
Yeah, especially like those alt plays. We saw the Kiriko alt come in, but then Maryland counterplays it with 1 or 2 alts and is able to really turn that fight into theirs and wipe the entire team. And that's the same thing that Maryland's been very good at and Michigan's been lacking. But it looks like this fight might be a little different because we are seeing a lot of Maryland just get taken down. But they're going to spawn up kick very quick. But we'll see if that they will be able to prevent that zone cap. And it looks like maybe, but probably not.
Yeah, we see right there. Basically, yeah, every alt that was available spent on that fight. Michigan actually do manage to, for the first time in this match, take control of the point after that fight. Now we've got a dangerous situation. UMD is coming back onto the point to fight back if they can take this, and I think that they will also just take this flashpoint. They have that Tony ult on deck. They have Michigan has the Lucio beat drop on deck as well as a defensive measure. Although he's also been like a little bit fast to kind of break away from his team, and you see there he's running again. Teammates are already dead, and he's just the last man standing. Nothing happens.
Yeah. You know, they were able to have that shining moment, take the zone for a bit, but then they just kind of fell into that same problem again, and UMD just is really good at taking advantage of that completely, and very quickly being like, yeah, you got one little cap, but that's enough.
Yeah, they split off instead of, you know, playing like an organized defense. I think that McChicken's ult there would have done like a lot of good work, especially since there weren't any ults to, you know, counter with that. But he just didn't end up doing anything with it. He just ended up running away, and they lost a point. They lost that second match, and it's dire for Michigan. I don't think that they have what it takes.
Yeah, it is definitely a very important and desperate situation right now. 2 zones up, 2 match lead for Maryland. This is the deciding fight, and here we have the Malga ult being countered by both Kiriko and the beat, and then Junker Queen coming in, trying to prevent those heals. But most teammates pretty quickly cleanse. And it looks like all those ults might not be enough to stop UMD here.
And you see he gets to stick onto that Lucio. Lucio cannot run away once he's stuck, and he's just stuck in that corner. There's nothing he can do. He's literally just trapped.
Yeah, just really a lot of quick and very together play as UMD. Because in that last play, we saw a lot of ults together, but they weren't kind of played as ults that were played. They were not played to be as a team. They were just kind of played, oh, I saw this guy throw his ult, I'll just throw mine. Not as a plan, not as to complement each other.
Michigan's Genji, though, coming out with that blade, gets 2, but it's just not enough.
But
UMD
the point,
manages to take it home.
UMD taking it home. The Genji trying near the end, but hey, the point is what matters. Kills or not, the point is what you have to get, and it looks like they weren't even going to get a touch on that last one. And it seems UMD just going to completely sweep through, not losing a zone, not letting Michigan get a point at all, I don't think. And any of the rounds, not even on push.
Not a single point, just absolute domination from UMD. We hyped up the Battle of the M's, but I think we know who the better M is today.
I think we know who the true M is. And just it absolutely being brought out today. UMD bringing their A game today. And I think the most they let the other team win by was just like a few percent or a couple meters. But that that was all they let Michigan have.
They
and
pour in like
yeah.
2 or 3 ults, they take like one team fight, and then they just be back, and it's like, okay, no, it's over for you. There's
really
nothing.
only ever losing like a few team fights. So just a very dominant performance by UMD today, just especially highlighted by their just team synergy and really good teamwork. The one thing that we saw just absolutely dominate here today, and something that Michigan seemed to really struggle with, which gave us this just absolutely, completely, and utterly, uncontestably decided victory.
It was a great match to watch, though, as a University of Maryland fan. And I hope that you guys, as University of Maryland fans at home, enjoyed it as much as we did. My name is Buka.
And I'm Quentin.
Signing out. Have a nice night.